The question I decided to focus on this week is how do I learn? And the three following questions I have are how can I learn respectfully, or how can I respectfully listen to all my students' views and opinions? How can I use the way I learn to help my students learn? And how can I help other teachers amongst me learn, and vice versa? How can I learn from them? So with my first question, how do I respectfully listen to my students' views and opinions? I really liked this quote from this reading about being awake. And it says, the millions are awake enough for physical labor, but only 1 in a million is awake enough for effective intellectual exertion. And I really liked this because it's easy to just go through the motions. And this actually came from one of our readings this week, or I think it was last week. But being awake, am I awake enough to hear other people? Am I awake enough to learn from my students? Am I awake enough to respectfully view their opinions? Am I creating a safe environment where they feel comfortable asking those questions? I feel like if they were comfortable, I would benefit from their questions because it would help me think about something that I would want to teach later on to other students. And so creating that safe environment will help them open up. And then humbling myself. I don't know everything, and allowing my students to make decisions allows them it allows them to grow in their confidence. I'm not the only one that needs to be confident. They also need to gain a confidence in themselves. My third question, how can I use the way I learn to help my students learn? I thought back to my mission about meeting the people's needs. And that's just the same with my students one day, is I need to meet their needs. And I thought back to my learning experience, how the teachers in my life met my needs. And I was a more hands-on visual person, and they met that for me. And I think knowing that I can help my students with that visual and hands-on experience. However, I don't know all the experiences, so I need to record many different ways of learning in a journal and write down that curriculum each time I have a student that has a different learning style so that I can meet all my students in the future's needs. And then not being afraid to observe other teachers and see how they teach certain kids. I'm not going to know everything at once, so it's going to take practice and learning and observing and asking questions and all of that. So it's okay to go out to other teachers and ask them for help, which leads well into my next point of how I can help teachers learn amongst me and how I can learn from them. Learning about how to gain their trust. This comes from the 3 Ways website, that's the link. And it says, make an effort to learn about your coworkers. And this helps build a support system. And it helps build this trust that you have with them. So you learn from each other with that trust. And then working together to solve problems. Be willing to accept advice. Be willing to give advice. This creates unity with that working together. And then reaching out to the education community outside of your own school. So reaching out to other schools, and it's good to know different methods of learning in different environments. Each school is different, each administration is different, and so learning all those different ways will be beneficial. And overall, I want my motivations and goals to be Christ-centered as a teacher, and I want to emulate him in the way he taught his disciples and taught people around him. And ultimately, I want to have my learning style affect other people as well as theirs to affect me. And the way that I can learn will, in the long run, help other people.